Howard actually died in 1936, so he was still writing Conan novels by the time he died.
He killed himself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's the ones that were published after 1936 is because they were either published by other people or they were posthumous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's sad that he killed himself. I think I might have heard you talking about this aspect with Joe Rogan one of the times you were on there about how sad it is that he killed himself, because he created this amazing universe with this
Sure.
amazing character, and he was such a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's he clearly had his issues throughout his life. He was a super shy guy. He definitely had. There's a lot of speculation about his mental sanity and all. But it happens a lot with people who are highly artistic. You're usually highly artistic because you feel something different from other people, which can be a great blessing, can also be a curse, because if you are like you have this oversensitivity, it can also mess you up.
oh yeah, yeah, well said. I identify that with that a lot, because sometimes, because I'm a writer and I write fiction, and I like I sometimes feel almost exactly like that. Like I'm almost more of an observer of society than a participant in it sometimes, and that that does sort of help improve my imagination in some ways. But then it can make it then, like, the cons of it, as you were talking about, are that it can sometimes just make you feel like lonely and depressed, even if you have a lot of people around you
Sure.
who love and support you.
I mean, sensitivity, it's kind of like if you have a greater emotional range. It's not good or bad, it's more, right? So your highs are higher, your lows are lower. If you find a way to balance it, you got the best possible deal. Now you get life in a more intense kind of way. But if you don't find a way to balance it, that your lows can really mess you up, which is why you have plenty of people who are artistic geniuses who can, their highs are so high and they can create beautiful things thanks to those emotions. But then when they deep down, their lows get to be so bad that they mess them up.
Yeah, yeah, well said. That's why you're the Zen Punisher.
It sucks, man, though, because
Dangerous but so Zen.
you want the highs to be that high.
Yeah,
When the price to pay are these brutal lows, you're like, man, can I just be normal for a while? It's like, this sucks. But of course, you don't want to be normal when you get the highs. Those are so good. And so it's a tricky business. It really is about learning how to balance it. And it's way easier said than done.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit too about how a lot of the mindsets in the Conan character are kind of stoic. I've been thinking about getting back into reading more Stoicism myself lately, just like to help myself with those problems that you were describing, because I've been having a bit of a hard time lately with that kind of stuff. And reading Stoicism has actually helped me a lot before, because part of it, and I know I heard about this, which is one of the reasons that got me interested in Stoicism in the first place, is that it sort of has some tactics in it that are similar to cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm-hmm.
which it seems to help a lot with that sort of stuff.
Great. Yeah, and in that sense, within Conan, you can find a whole lot of good stoicism. There's a lot there that just reading the stories, there's so much of it that shows up. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the original Stoics were a little bit moralists and they were really kind of a bit straight edge in their attitude about things. So sometimes it gets a little tedious, but there are other ways to get it that are awesome. You know, I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same thing if you read a lot of like samurai stuff, tend to emphasize a lot of stoicism. Conan, there's a lot of stoicism. It shows up in a bunch of cultures.